Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, a.k.a. Mazuma TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We got some things that we currently need to discuss that's going on in the boxing world, man. We're going to talk about Jaron Ennis' interview with Ariel Helwani and some of the things that he has said in regard to Vergil Ortiz being at the top of his list, being in attendance for that fight between Vergil Ortiz and Erickson Lubin. Then, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's in the comments thus far, man. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,200 mark. About to hit that 3,300 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. You feel what I mean? But before we get started, let me go ahead and put this on subscriber only mode because, to be honest with you, we don't really care what you got to say over at the nation if you ain't supporting the channel, if you ain't subbed to the channel, all that good stuff. You feel what I mean? So let's go ahead and make the subscriber only. Coffee Plant, what up? Lamont A, what up? King of Brooklyn 3, what up? Southwest Dice said, yo, can your boy get a wrench? I actually think you're very deserving of that, brother. So we're going to go ahead and hook you up with that. You know what I mean? Shout out to the boy Southwest Dice. You are officially a moderator, my brother. Salute to the boy Southwest Dice. You know what I mean? I had a good day overall. You know what I mean? I had the day off from work, so that was very good. That's a great way to start the day. Took care of some things at the gym. Did a little bit more matchmaking for my show November 21st at Pivot Boxing Academy. You know what I mean? Everything's going well with that. Got some good sparring today. Everybody's doing what they need to do, man. I'm very excited for my stable, for my team. You know what I mean? Everybody's on the up doing some great shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. What else? Of course, I had my son for the day. He was having a good time. Let me show y'all a video real quick, y'all. This shit is pretty dope. It's funny, man. Kids really pay attention to what you're doing, regardless of their age. Man, children are the greatest imitators, man. You know what I mean? So let me show y'all this. Take a look at this. Hold on, let me actually. This is one of my kids, Joshua Ramos, by the way, that I train. But take a look at this. This is one of my kids, Joshua Ramos. Hold on. I train. Oh man. This shit is hilarious. Absolutely fire, man. My son out here watching his father and following suit, man. It's a beautiful thing. It just lets you know your kids watching. You feel me, man? Shout out to all the fathers out there, man. You know what I mean? It's just dope. It's dope. But Smoochie, what up? I mean, who else? 2045 trainer of the year. That's hilarious, man. Hopefully by 2045, I'm in the PA Boxing Hall of Fame. You feel me? Or at least close to it. You know what I mean? Within the next 20 years, hopefully I have a world champion. You know what I mean? National champions, all that good stuff. But we'll see. AJ86, what up? You heard Pacheco's looking for a new trainer? Shit, he need to come over to Pivot Boxing Academy. Yeah, I mean, don't get you no celebrity trainer, man. Get you a real motherfucking trainer that knows the ins and outs of the sport, understands defense, outside, inside game, the jab, timing. Man, listen. Get with me, man. Get with me. But anyways, Marissa, what's going on, Marissa? I ain't see you in a while. How you been? If I ain't shout out Agent 86, man, shout out to Agent 86. But we just had shout out to Jaron Ennis. I seen he posted a picture of himself out in New York. I was wondering what he was doing, but apparently he was on a media run, which is pretty dope, man. I like the fact that Jaron Ennis actually took the time to, you know, do these interviews with the media because it's great for his promotion, great for his publicity. You feel what I'm saying? Crispy Chris, what up? Andres, what up? We doing well, man. Thank you very much. Marlon 2631, what up? What's going on? But yeah, man, it's great that he's getting that publicity, man. He's keeping his name, on the airwaves. You know what I mean? Keeping his name relevant in the boxing world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to the boy. Birdman says, real quick, while on topic, who you think Pacheco will have next in his corner? Something just leads me to believe that Pacheco is going to gravitate towards like a Mexican trainer. I don't know why. I don't really see Pacheco dealing with anybody outside of his race for some reason. I just think that's what he's going to gravitate towards. So that could literally be anybody. You know what I mean? He might join Eddie Reynoso and them. Hopefully he doesn't. You know what I mean? Because he might be, that's somebody that I'm a huge fan of. I seen he was in Philly, the day Jaron Ennis fought Ortiz Malima. Man, I wanted to meet Diego Pacheco, man. I'm a real big fan of Diego, but I wasn't able to, unfortunately. I had my son. But Pacheco was with Benavidez Coffee Plant. Now he was with the Benavidez team, but he split from them. And if he's looking for a new trainer, he probably gonna end up with a Robert Garcia, you know what I mean, a Manny Robles, you know what I mean, a Eddie Reynoso. You know what I mean? He probably end up with one of them. If I had to pick three people, that'd be the people he'll probably likely lean towards. You know what I mean? I think Robert Garcia is a great move because that's a knowledgeable coach and experienced coach and has some great talent in his camp and has had great talent in and out of his camp. You feel what I'm saying? With the amount of knowledge that Robert Garcia has with his father and Mikey Garcia and all the different, Pita, you know what I mean? They know what the fuck they doing over there. They know what they're doing over there. So, yeah. So if I had to guess, maybe Robert Garcia. I think that'll be a good choice for Diego. I think that'll be a good choice for Diego. Marissa says, I copped the Benavidez Ring magazine today. Salute to Marissa, man. That's a real boxing fan right there. I love Marissa's enthusiasm for the sport. You know what I mean? You can tell she really loves boxing, man. Shout out to Marissa, man. One of my favorite people on the channel. But anyways, like I was saying about Jaron Ennis, man, you know what I mean? He's been doing media all day today, which is definitely contrary to the criticism about him that he only does interviews with YSM. He only does interviews with YSM. Man, why doesn't he do interviews anywhere else? He only interviews with YSM because he could control YSM. Can he control Ariel Helwani? How about Barstool Sports? Like, what about that? What about the other people he did interviews with? I mean, shut up. You would like to see Pacheco work with Bomac? That's not a terrible option. It's not. You know what I mean? But is he going to be willing to go to, Omaha to train? Is he going to be willing to go to Colorado Springs? Well, some fighters, they like to fight in certain places, or they're only comfortable working in certain places. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You know what I mean? We'll see. But that'll be a good choice. Why not? Bomac and his team, and plus Bomac got a Mexican coach under his team too. He said, "Come work with Mark." Man, I would love to work with Diego Pacheco, bro. I know I'm not like a notable trainer yet, but everybody that's ever worked with me has only ever said good things about me. You feel what I mean? It takes some time to get to know where my IQ is. You know what I mean? My philosophies and how the way I train. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they don't really know too much about me until they work with me. Then they be like, oh, this dude Mark actually know what he's talking about. You feel me? But that'll be dope. I would love to work with Diego Pacheco. He said hopefully we get Pacheco versus Shiraz within the next 2 years. It's a great fight. Two tall-ass super middleweights. You know what I mean? Diego Pacheco got some punching power, good finishing ability, good body puncher. Good understanding of range. You got Hamza Shiraz, who's pretty similar. It's a good fight. Bomac show man respect. Neil Birdman, is you motherfucking Diego Pacheco? Let me find out. This motherfucker, we over here trying to talk about Jaron Ennis and what he keep talking about Diego. I love Diego. But that's not the topic today, brother. Let me find out you Diego. We need to get you on the channel if you are. Shit. Most notable trainers came up with the Hall of Fame boxer. I mean, yeah, that's very true. You know what I mean? The trainer develops the fighter, and the fighter builds the reputation for the coach. That's how that works. That's the exchange. Let me find out. If you Diego Pacheco, brother, let's bring you on. We fuck with Diego heavy, man. Shout out to my Mexicans, man. Shout out to my Mexicans. Shout out to my Mexico Americans. I mean, shout out to Guadalajara. Shout out to Mexico City. Shout out to Sinaloa. You know what I mean? Shout out to all my Mexican people, man. I love my Mexican people. Contrary to popular belief, I love my Mexicans. Trust me. But yeah, man. Jaron Ennis has some things to say on this Ariel Helwani show. I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I mean? I was caught up with the family, eating my late dinner as always. Caught up in, just talking and, things like that. So I didn't get it to really catch the interview in this, like, as a whole. Birdman said Jaron did what we all expected him to do. He doesn't really want Vergil next. He's chasing titles. Let the Vergil Boots fight build up. Okay, that's what you say, but Boots has said something differently over on Ariel Helwani's show. So let's go ahead and share the screen for the people to see. I mean, shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out to the 13 people that's in the building, man. Y'all get the likes up. Let's get the algorithm on that up so that people know that Mazuma TV is live. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Bridgeport, Connecticut. Yeah, that's a fact. Shout out to Smoochie's Stomping Grounds. You feel me? Shout out to Bridgeport. Absolutely. I agree. But anyways, look at the jewelry. Okay, Boots. My boy out here. Yeah, that motherfucker shining out this motherfucker. We find out. I was about to say, I hope them knuckles ain't ashy because we getting too much money for that. You know what I mean? I was about to say, don't be out here. Don't be doing that, Boots. Anyways. You was in Northampton, Massachusetts. Okay, shout out to Northampton. Let's go ahead and hear this interview real quick between Jaron Ennis and Ariel Helwani. And I know a lot of people don't really like Ariel Helwani, but I'll tell you what. Ariel Helwani got more balls than a lot of you media niggas, bro. He do. He don't mind asking the tough questions. He not really one to be beaten under the bush, and he don't mind shaking some shit up, pause, to get a rise out of motherfuckers or to get the real answers. You feel what I mean? So Boots spend. You know what I mean? He not the flashiest dude though. I've been around Boots. He's not the flashiest dude. You could tell like he like his nice stuff, but based off his outfits and shit, I don't necessarily think he splurges. I don't think he's irresponsible with his money. But yeah, let's get into it.
He ran through a lot of people, at 140. Like that's a got it, y'all. And like by the way, summertime and get right, get him some boxing lessons.
By the way, speaking of Philly, Danny Garcia this past weekend.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I seen knocked the guy in like the fourth round.
Yeah. Nice little left hook there.
Yeah,
he still got it.
He still got it. If that was his last fight, that's a great way to go out. In your career as a I feel like he gonna be a future Hall of Famer in my eyes. He ran through a lot of people. At 140. So I think he fought the top guys at 47. So I think he a Hall of Famer to me.
I agree, and definitely an all-time great Philadelphia boxer too. I'm gonna say that.
Okay, going back to you, I've talked to now Eddie and Oscar about this meeting with DAZN and everyone where they talked about you versus Vergil, and essentially what was said, and I want to get your take on it now. That hey, we're gonna do this fight a couple weeks ago, the one that you won. You're gonna do your fight, and if everything goes well, these two guys are going to fight each other in 2026. That's the agreement. What Eddie said was they went back to you, you signed. You said you were in.
I signed like that.
In. No problems, no.
So if he said he signed like that, Birdman, I don't think it's really safe to assume that he doesn't want the Vergil fight. Next.
Questions, nothing.
Nope.
They went back to Vergil. This is what he said. And they were like, we're going to do our fight, and then we're going to revisit this. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. That's understandable though. You gotta stay on task of what's in front of you. And not overlooking nobody.
But you agreed before your fight.
Yeah, I did, but I still was locked in on Lima. Even when people was asking me about the Ortiz situation, I wouldn't even say nothing about it. I'll be like October 11th. We focusing on Lima, and that's it. You know, that's our main focus right now. I said after I'm victorious, he said, and I was like, then we could talk about these other guys and Ortiz and things like that. And so I stayed focused on task in hand, even though I signed before, but I stayed focused on task in hand, and yeah, and now we here, you know, just here waiting.
If you had the pick of the litter,
sound like that's something Brian Norman could have did. You know what I mean? Because that just go to show that Boots wasn't telling Brian Norman or trying to get Brian Norman to do something that he wasn't trying to do himself, which was, you know, agree to a fight immediately after the fight that you got ongoing. You know what I mean? Brian Norman and them, they didn't want to talk until the fight was over. Boots actually agreed to terms in terms of fighting Vergil Ortiz next, you know, before he was even finished with the Lima fight. You feel what I'm saying? So that's something that Brian Norman could have did. You know what I mean? Say, yeah, we could do that fight next. You know what I mean? Let me just worry about my opponent. And that fight could have been next. And Boots probably would have stood an extra fight at 47 just to make that fight happen. But, hey, man, it is what it is.
Is he at the top of the list? Is he the top guy
For
that you
sure.
want? Why?
It's too much going back and forth, a lot of talking, and I can't wait. You know, they're gonna say. I ain't even gonna say too much. They're gonna say.
Is it personal between you two?
No, it's not personal, but it's just I see all the little talking that they've been doing. You know, and like I said, Lord, let him get through his fight. You know, and we'll see, take it from there. But
Will you go to him?
So he's saying Vergil at the top of his list. He's saying Vergil's at the top of his list. So for people in the comments to be saying that he doesn't want to fight Vergil next, that goes completely against what Boots is saying. That goes completely against what Eddie Hearn is saying. And I know Eddie Hearn got a history of lying and shit, just like 99.9% of these promoters. But Boots is telling you right now on Ariel Hawani's show, Vergil Ortiz is at the top of his list. And it's not necessarily, you know, personal. But at the same time, they're doing a whole lot of talking, and I want to shut them up. So shout out to Boots for that.
His fight.
Oh, hopefully we try and see now. You know, I'm gonna talk to Eddie and them actually when I leave here and see what we're gonna do.
Yo, you sitting in the front row there would be something.
Yeah, if I don't go, I'm gonna watch it. But if I do go, you know, I'm gonna be there locked in watching it as well. So, and hopefully, you know, I'm gonna get in there. You know, I'll be able to get in the ring and whoever win, I'll fight the winner or the champions, but hopefully it's Ortiz.
You want him to win.
So he letting it be known. He don't give a fuck if Vergil got a belt or not. He don't give a fuck if Erickson Lubin end up upsetting you know, Vergil Ortiz. You know, upsetting the boxing world with a victory over Vergil Ortiz. He's saying there's a likelihood that he'll show up to the fight and hopefully he could step into the ring after the winner is called and get that shit going. And I ain't gonna lie, I really hope Boots does do that. I hope nothing really holds him up from, you know, going to do that. I hope that Boots flies out to Texas, you know what I mean? And, you know, stir some shit up in the boxing world, man. People need to normalize that. You know what I mean? Like, people need to, you know, get on their Shannon the Cannon shit. You know how he was chasing Vladimir Klitschko around and you know, pulling up to his gym, you know, flying overseas, just to, you know, stir some shit up and get some promotion, pulling up on this nigga in the middle of the ocean, making a wave and having Vladimir Klitschko fall off his paddleboard. You know what I'm saying? Like, little shit like that, bro. We need, like, Clubber Lang pulling up on Rocky Balboa at the art museum and calling him out for a fight. Like, niggas need to normalize that. When Landy Lara pulled up on Canelo at his press conference, he was like, yo, congratulations, but what's up with me and you fighting? That put Canelo in a tough spot where he felt like he needed to fight Lara. You know what I'm saying? Like like fighters need to be held against the fire at times in order to make things happen. You know what I mean? And there's some fighters that are emotional. And Vergil Ortiz, he is an emotional guy, especially inside of the ring. I feel like if, you know, Boots was to pull up on him, you know, and talk that shit to him in his face, that'll put Vergil in a situation where his pride is going to be, you know, hurt. He's going to want to do something about that. So I would love the idea. You know what I'm saying? I would love the idea of Boots going over to Texas, you know what I mean, stepping into the ring with the winner of Erickson Lubin and Vergil Ortiz and calling them out for a rumble. I'm with that. You feel what I mean? So I like what Boots is saying, man. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that. Well, I'm gonna say this because Boots said that. I'm looking forward to that. You know what I mean? I'm holding Boots to that. You know what I mean? There was a couple times where the fight wasn't, the fight didn't get made. Me personally, I think that was a miscommunication. Boots was thinking Vergil was going to fight him at 47. Vergil can't make 47 because of his health issues. And, there was people pointing fingers at Vergil, pointing fingers at Boots, when I really think that it was just a misunderstanding, a miscommunication by whoever was conducting the business between the two. That's what I think happened. You know what I mean? Vergil Ortiz got an injury. You know what I'm saying? They said they agreed to the November fight or whatever the case is, but Boots had an October date lined up. There's discussions as to whether, Jaron Ennis should have waited until November or not. But the reality is Boots fought Ortiz Malima, top 10 dude at 154 pounds. Erickson Lubin was picked by Vergil Ortiz to fight out in Texas. Great fight, you know what I mean? Erickson Lubin is a top 10 contender as well. So, hopefully Vergil Ortiz, but Boots did what he had to do at the end of the day. And he's letting it be known, I want to fight Vergil Ortiz next. I don't think him wearing the Dallas Cowboy colors was a coincidence. I don't think him listening to that song by Lil Durk, What Happened to Vergil, I don't think that was a coincidence neither. Because now he's knocking on Vergil Ortiz's door, looking to make that fight. You know what I'm saying? So now it's up to Vergil Ortiz to defeat Erickson Lubin, and if he does, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Vergil Ortiz and his team to make the fight happen. Because after the Erickson Lubin fight, they're both going to be available. So, and now they're going to be in the same weight division. So now what? You know what I mean? So I love it. But Boots has to stand on his words now. He has to do this. He has to be, really assertive. He has to be, determined to make this fight happen because, if Vergil wins or whatever the case is, then Boots goes quiet. It's going to look bad on his part. You feel what I mean? So let's continue.
And obviously,
definitely,
that's the way. I mean, gigantic fight.
I definitely want him to win, but you can't overlook Lubin.
Sure.
He's a crafty guy. He been around for a while. He fought Charlo, he fought Ramos, and he fought a couple top guys. So you can't overlook him. And it's not like he's a bad fighter or anything. He's sharp. He's crafty. It's not a guy you can just overlook. So I think it's a 50-50 fight. For me, or 60-40, maybe leaning more towards Ortiz.
Wow, that close, huh?
Yeah, damn, it's a good fight. Yeah, it's a good fight for boxing. And I like it. Like I said, I'm a beater. If I go, I'm a beater. Watching and keep my eyes on both of them.
No, just
it is a great fight, man. I think a lot of people, and I'm picking this. I'm picking Vergil Ortiz to defeat Erickson Lubin. You know what I mean? I think that Vergil Ortiz's pressure, his aggressiveness, his punching power. I think that's really going to play a part, in the fight. I think Erickson Lubin boxes very well. However, he does have this tendency where, he puts his heart ahead of his brain at times. And when a fight breaks out, he doesn't necessarily, avoid it. So I think Vergil Ortiz is going to get him in a position where he's going to have no choice but to fight. And I think shit's going to go downhill from there. You know what I mean? Now, if Erickson Lubin stays composed, focused, and sticks by his game plan and boxes Vergil Ortiz, then, there's a likelihood that he could have, success. You feel what I mean? So it's definitely a 50-50. I mean, I could see – me personally, I think it's a 60-40 fight, but I can see why people would look at it as a 50-50 fight because even though Erickson Lubin came up short in fights like the Fandora and the Jamel Charlo fight, he done been around the block. He's very experienced. It's something about, one thing about Erickson Lubin was he was able to bounce back off of both of those, losses. You know what I mean? And get himself back in the winning column. So you got to salute Erickson Lubin for that. You feel what I mean? So yeah, he went through some, he had some shortcomings in his career. However, I do think that those experiences make you a better fighter. I do. I think that realizes that it gives you the realization that you have more work to do. You know what I mean? You know what to do, in the future to avoid those, situations from happening again, because he done lost, he done got sparked, really early in the fight, and then he's accumulated some damage and, had his fight stopped later on, with Fundora. So I think he has an understanding of balance. You feel what I mean? I think he knows, when to turn it on and when to turn it off in terms of, using his aggression in boxing, not playing into somebody else's game plan, fighting your fight. I think that those losses that Erickson Lubin took could possibly help him mature as a fighter and make him really dangerous going into this this Vergil Ortiz fight. You know what I'm saying? Lubin faced Ramos, which is good preparation for Ortiz. I see what you're saying. I do think that Vergil Ortiz is a bit more aggressive and a bit more active in terms of volume. But, you know what I mean? There is a similarity in terms of pressure and, power and things of that nature. You feel what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So I think this fight is closer than people are, making it seem. However, I do got Vergil Ortiz winning this fight.
Respect to Lubin, but the fight that I want to see is you versus Ortiz.
For sure.
And I think this is one of the best American fights that can be made.
For sure.
And with all due respect to everyone else around the world, I think it has to be in America.
For sure.
Right?
It gotta be. I feel like you gotta do this one in the States because everybody wanna see it. Everybody go. I think it's a pay-per-view fight for, and I think everybody will pay to see it, or everybody will come out to come see it wherever it's at, whether it's in Vegas, Madison Square Garden, wherever it's at.
What's your obviously you'd love it in Philly, but
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be Philly, right?
No, absolutely.
Okay,
It's not gonna be in Philly. Yeah.
So where is the ideal spot for it? What deserves to host this fight? Which venue in your opinion?
To me, either anywhere in Vegas, so like a T-Mobile Arena,
yeah.
or maybe go old school MGM.
Oh man, I love the MGM.
Or we can go Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
I think Madison Square Garden would be crazy as well. That'd be historic as well. So either one.
See, I like the fact that Boots is understanding that this fight's not going to happen in Philly, because if Boots was dead pressed on making this fight happen in Philly, Vergil ain't going for that because he didn't even want to fight Xander in Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? He like neutral locations. So, I think a Vegas fight would definitely be ideal if the fight were to be made between, Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis. You feel what I mean? I like that. Nobody can necessarily complain that they're in somebody's backyard. And, that's where a lot of the big fights happen at. You feel what I mean? And I think that Jaron Ennis, needs to have these Vegas fights to really gain some notoriety, to get some more attention, build a stock in the game. You feel what I mean? And I wonder if this fight does get made, is Turki Al-Sheikh going to be backing this financially or not? Because, me personally, I don't think Turki Al-Sheikh is too fond of Jaron Ennis. You know what I mean? I think he actually takes it pretty personal when guys, make their own choices and don't go out of their way to kiss his ass or do whatever he says. You know what I'm saying? And, Boots, he wanted to go about things a certain way. Turki Al-Sheikh didn't like that, so he went out of his way to try to shit on Jaron Ennis subliminally by saying that he's not a charity. Now, this fight right here is not a charity. You know what I mean? This fight's not a charity. So I wonder, based off of Turki Al-Sheikh's own logic, is he going to be supporting this fight? You know what I mean? Because, Turki Al-Sheikh, more than anything, he wants these type of fights to be in Riyadh. You know what I mean? He's a Riyadh guy. He wants people to come over to Riyadh to witness these events. You know what I mean? They're trying to do their whole rebrand. So because of that, I'm sure he wants to make this a Riyadh type of fight. However, Boots ain't going for that. He wants this to be a U.S. fight. He doesn't necessarily want to take that over to Riyadh. So I wonder if, Turki Al-Sheikh is going to be backing this because, I feel like a lot of the times Turki Al-Sheikh, he'll make some fights happen in the U.S., but, that'll come with lesser pay and things like that. And sometimes he make it seem like, the only place to make these fights happen is in Riyadh. But the reality is that's not true. You know what I mean? That's not true. And, one of the biggest examples is Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford done did, 2 fights with Turki Al-Sheikh thus far, one with Mazuma, one with Canelo Alvarez. Neither one of those fights was in Riyadh. So you doing that for your favorite fighter, you know what I mean? It's possible for Terrence Crawford to do it, so why can't Jaron Ennis do it? You feel me? So, yeah. I like this fight. He also said Madison Square Garden. I don't think Vergil Ortiz will let that happen. That's a bit too close to Philadelphia. So he may feel like because of that gives Boots some type of, hometown advantage or some shit like that. Who knows? But, he's saying MSG, if it was able to happen there, that'd be cool. But I don't think Vergil Ortiz will really go for that. You feel what I mean? I think he's going to want to put this on the West Coast or something like that. Yeah. Philly, like an hour 40 from New York, especially where I'm at. I'm right by the 95. I could get to New York quick, especially if I was to leave right now. I'd probably be there before 1 in the morning or a little after 1 in the morning. It's 11:14 right now. Yeah, for sure. Probably get there. Yeah, I'll probably get there a little after 1 in the morning. It's 11:15 right now. New York is not far, especially when there ain't no traffic. So I don't know if Vergil and his team will really be, willing to do that. But, they had Ryan Garcia fighting Madison Square Garden against Rolly. So why not? But then again, Rolly's from Vegas. Who knows? We'll see.
Aren't enough big fights at the big MSG. No, I'm not talking about the theater.
No, I'm talking about the big one. I'm talking about the big one. That's why I say I want to. I always wanted to fight at MSG anyway. Yeah. So, I like how it looks in there. It's real. It's really nice. When they have fights and stuff in there. So, for me, it would be either the T-Mobile Arena or take it back and go MGM, or we can do, Madison Square Garden.
Do you think he would say yes to MSG because that's kind of a home game for you, right? That's so close to Philly.
I mean, I feel like he has a deep fan base, and I feel like all his fans and stuff will come. If it was to be in New York, I feel like they all will come. He got a good fan base. I got a good fan base. I feel like it'll make for a great fight. And who don't want to come to New York?
Oh my God. There was a time where MSG was holding all these big fights, and now I feel like, every couple of years we get, when we got Taylor Serrano, prior to that, it was, Brooklyn's cool and all, but we got to go back to the Mecca. The Mecca is the best. I would absolutely love that. In your perfect world as well, he fights November 8th.
Yep.
How soon could we get this fight? You obviously didn't get hurt in your fight, I would imagine, right? 72 seconds?
Yeah.
Unless something happened?
I mean, it depends on how his fight go. If he's in a war, maybe we'll see. Maybe April, March, April. If not, if he make quick work of it, who knows? We could be back in there sooner. So it's all for real. It's all up to how him right now, because he's the one that has a fight. Hopefully he doesn't get no cuts, no broken hands or anything, or anything hurt on him. So it's dependent on him at the moment.
I'm gonna tell you this, and I said this a while back, and I even heard rumors about it way after I said this. But something just tells me, like me personally, that if the Vergil and Boots fight were to be made, it's probably going to take place in May. You know what I mean? They start saying February. Now Boots saying March, April. Who's to say that it won't happen in the 5th month of the year? You know what I mean? And I think, of course, these guys are thinking about money too. They're thinking about business, right? So why wouldn't they make? Especially with, Canelo Alvarez he probably not going to come back till late 2026 due to his injury or whatever the case is. Why wouldn't they make that fight happen Cinco de Mayo weekend? That time frame is available. There's no, outside of Canelo, there's no huge star that's like entitled to those dates at this point in time in boxing. Canelo, he healing from an injury. He healing from a surgery, actually. May is actually something that could definitely happen. Vergil Ortiz is a Mexican-American. Boots is a black fighter, obviously. And, Floyd Mayweather especially when he became Money May, he made it his business to fight Mexicans on Cinco de Mayo. He made it his business to fight Mexicans or Hispanic fighters, in September during Mexican Independence Weekend or whatever the case is. So, yeah, man, I could really, really see Vergil and Boots fighting in May. I could really see that happening, bro. Cinco de Mayo weekend between Boots and Vergil. That'll be a good time, man. The Mexicans is definitely going to come out and root for Vergil. Might even have some Mexicans that fuck with Boots. And then you're going to have the black fans there as well. You feel what I mean? Because, they push bullshit narratives in the past like, oh, black fighters don't sell, even though black fighters have been the biggest stars in boxing history. The black fans are going to come out. You know what I mean? And whoever other fans support, Jaron Ennis, they gonna come out as well. Puerto Ricans love Jaron Ennis, especially in Philadelphia. Why not Juneteenth? I mean, that's a possibility too. But in terms of like notable fight dates, I feel like Cinco de Mayo weekend is a more popular fight date historically than Juneteenth. But if it would have happened in Juneteenth, I love it. But why push it back an additional month when Cinco de Mayo weekend is right there? A Mexican holiday with, a Mexican being one half of the main event. I love it. But Juneteenth, that'll be for, African Americans as well. I love it. Marissa said, rooting for Boots. Okay. I love it. I mean, Marissa, you from Texas, Vergil from Texas. I mean, if you back in Vergil, that's okay too. Vergil Ortiz is a good fighter, bro. So I wouldn't be necessarily against anybody rooting for Vergil on this channel. But yeah, I always thought that the fight would happen in May. I said that from the very beginning. If they were able to get that going, don't say I didn't tell you.
The other two options, of course, Sebastian Fundora and I think Xander Zayas. Yeah. What I'm hearing is there is some interest from MSG to have you versus Xander Zayas at MSG. Are you hearing this as well?
I'm with whatever. That's what I'm I can't wait.
You want all these guys?
I
like these options.
Man, Xander don't want to fight no Jaron Ennis at Madison Square Garden, man. I fuck with Xander Zayas, but come on. No. He don't want to fight Boots for our first title defense. He don't. I don't give a fuck what Xander talking about. I don't give a fuck what Bad Bunny talking about. Bob Arum. No. They not sending Boots no type of fight offer anytime soon. In my opinion. Prove me wrong, nigga.
I'm really about to show y'all. Like, I'm about to run through these guys. And show y'all one by one. Like, this 154 really mine, and I'm gonna shut everybody up. I can't wait. I hear the little chatters and all the little talks.
What do you hear? What's bothering you? What are people saying?
It's just little
They're
things.
Questioning you?
Yeah, they questioning, and it's cool, and I love it. They're not doing nothing but like adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
And it's going.
I like that Ariel's trying to get Boots to say what's on his mind, but Boots is pretty reserved. It's hard to get Boots to open up. Pause. It's hard for him to. He's pretty reserved. He doesn't really like to speak on how he feels, about things. At least he doesn't. He filters what he says. I'm gonna say that. You know what I mean? I do wish Boots was more unfiltered though, but I like that Ariel's attempting to get him to speak more.
And I love it. They're not doing nothing but like adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make it worse each and every time for whoever's stepping in the ring with me.
Seeing what Terrence did not that long ago, did that give you motivation? Because it feels like for the longest time, people were questioning him, doubting him. He wasn't getting the big opportunities, the big fights. Do you see yourself in his journey a little bit as well?
I mean, I got my own journey. I just, and we just getting started. I accomplished good things at 147. I was lineal champion. Undisputed. Unified lineal champion at 147. And now we at 54. I have the WBA, interim right now at the moment, but I'm looking to be two-weight division world champion, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna collect all these belts too as well.
I feel like the pot of gold at the end of that rainbow is the Terrence fight. Do you think he sticks around long enough to fight you?
I mean, I heard after his last fight, he did like an interview. Or somebody asked him a question about him fighting me, and I heard him say he's not gonna fight me.
Why?
Yeah, I guess he said not come back to the 154. So let that man enjoy his victory. He just beat Canelo. The face of boxing. So which that makes Canelo. I mean, that makes Crawford the face of boxing at the moment. And he earned the right to fight whoever he want to fight. And yeah.
Were you surprised?
It's a great answer. That's a great answer. I do feel like the media, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of the media is like attempting to get Boots to say something negative about Terrence Crawford. I understand that there's, a connection between these two because, people were saying that, they'll like to see this fight. Boots has the potential. They have a lot of similarities, blah, 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 right? I get it. But at the same time, it's like Terrence Crawford done told y'all on multiple occasions that Boots don't bring nothing to the table. Bomac told me that on my own channel. That was never a fight that they were particularly interested in, you know. And when you understand Terrence Crawford's upbringing, you would see why. You know what I mean? Like Terrence Crawford missed out on a lot of big opportunities while dealing with Bob Arum in Top Rank. You know, they trying to make up for lost times. And thankfully they were able to do so with the help of Riyadh Season and, you know, the business partners that, you know, he's associated himself with. And he was able to get that huge Canelo Alvarez fight. So he's feeling accomplished. He's feeling vindicated. You know what I mean? He was able to see light at the end of the tunnel. And, you know, I don't think he necessarily wants to go backwards at this point. You feel what I mean? And I do think fighting Boots at this particular time in his career is a step backwards. You feel what I mean? And that's why I feel like, in all honesty, you know, it's going to be hard to top what he just did with Canelo Alvarez. And this is why I'm an advocate of him retiring. You know what I mean? It was kind of like John Ruiz after the Roy Jones after the John Ruiz fight. It's like, all right, you know what I mean? You at the pinnacle of the sport. You did everything you needed to do. You just ride off into the sunset. But what did Roy Jones do? Take a step backwards, and we seen what happened as a result of that. You know, I think, and I'm not saying that, you know, if Bud were to fight Boots, that it will go the same way. But, you know, he said he got this philosophy that once you go up, you don't go back down. So that's not a fight he's particularly interested in. You know what I mean? And I think what the media is trying to do, you know, to get some numbers up is get Boots to say something crazy about Bud so he can hit the headlines and have them going back and forth. And Boots isn't going to do that, y'all. He's not. The nigga's not a hater. He's understanding of the situation. And he, like he said, he got his own path. You know what I mean? Like he don't want, and you could tell that it bothers Boots when, and I'm going to say this. This is another thing that I'm noticing. People trying to make it seem like Boots be hating on Bud because he doesn't want to be associated with Bud's name, or he gets, you know, you could tell his energy get a little thrown off whenever you compare the two. Look, man, think about it. And this is true alpha male shit. If you're not an alpha male, you wouldn't necessarily understand his perspective. You feel what I'm saying? When you an alpha male, you genuinely feel like you that nigga. You genuinely feel like you him. You feel like you number one. So why would you want to be compared to somebody who's perceived as number one as well? No, I don't want to be in the same. Like, I want to fight this nigga. I don't want to be compared to this nigga. Like, you trying to make it seem like I'm like the second version of him when I'm the first version of me. You feel what I mean? So true competitors understand that shit. It's almost like, you know, let's say they call Chris Brown the next Michael Jackson, right? He don't want you to call him the second coming of Michael Jackson. I'm sure he got a lot of love and admiration for Michael Jackson, but at the end of the day, he's himself. You know what I'm saying? So I think people need to I think media has to embrace individuality more. I think we need to stop comparing these guys, because what it's really doing, in all honesty, is creating tension between two guys that shouldn't even have an issue with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, if Boots get asked that question, no, he'll be like, bro, why do you keep comparing me to this nigga Terrence? And then same thing will be happening with Terrence. And why they keep comparing me to this fucking young guy, Jaron Ennis, and then they might end up having words as a result of that. Whole time, neither one of them have an issue with each other. It's just the media keep making these guys to be enemies. When in reality, they just, you know, Boots just came around at a time where Bud was looking for different things out of his career. He went past the proven stage. Now he's just trying to solidify, you know, these big money fights. Boots was coming up, and Boots was in a situation where he's, you know, hitting that proven stage. He want to prove that he's great. Bud already proved that at his reign at 47. So they just came around. By the time they got around to being matched up with each other, they was in two totally different phases of their career. You feel what I mean? So I think it was a great answer from Boots. I like, you know, him just approaching this in a respectful way. And the fact that the media's, and, you know, Ariel Helwani's trying to, I don't think he's necessarily trying to bait him to say something crazy about Bud, but at the same time, you know, he wanted, you know, Ariel like to stir some shit up. That's just the type dude he is.
surprised he looked that good against Canelo? Were you expecting that?
I didn't get to see it. You know,
you didn't watch it?
No, I didn't. Come on. See it. I was in the middle of camp. You know,
I know Netflix. You're eating breakfast. You put it on. No,
no, I didn't get to see it. I was in the middle of camp, and I think the fight came at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, it did.
And I had 2 workouts that day, so I tried to stay up, but I was tired. And but I mean, like I said, I think he did a great thing for boxing. You know, I seen he looked good from what I seen from the highlights and things like that. He looked good, and you gotta respect it. You know what I'm saying? He a Hall of Famer. What is like 3-weight division?
Yeah.
Yeah, he jumped from 54. We really could say 47 to 68. You know, and nobody has done that. You know, he did a great thing for his team, and for him and his team. You know.
Do you think he retires?
Like I just said, I feel like he could do whatever he want. You know, he
why do you think he doesn't want to fight you?
I mean, I can't really say.
That'd be a huge fight.
To see that right there. Why do you think he doesn't want to fight you? That's just him just trying to stir some shit up. That's what I'm talking about. Why you think he don't want to fight you? It's like he's trying to bait Boots into saying some shit. Where it's like, in a perfect world, Ariel wants Boots to say, "Oh, because that motherfucker ducking me, he a pussy." Blah blah. But Boots ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? You do that shit with, you know, when you put the little peanut butter or the cheese out there, you know what I mean? You doing that because you think the mouse or the rat, whatever the case is stupid enough to fall for that trap. You feel what I'm saying? Kenny Manson says, "Is what we all want to know, honestly." Well, Terrence Crawford already answered that question. He already answered the question. He said that he looking for these big money fights. Boots don't bring nothing to the table. He got bigger fish to fry. If you want to know, in all honesty, why Terrence Crawford doesn't want to fight Jaron Ennis, you don't ask Jaron Ennis. You ask Terrence Crawford because he's the one who said on the record that he doesn't want to fight Jaron Ennis. But he already answered the question 1,000,000 times. So how many times y'all going to ask a question and expect different answers? That don't even make sense. Why keep asking the same fucking question when you know you're going to get the same answers? It's stupid. So what Ariel's doing right here is attempting to get Boots to say some shit about Terrence Crawford so he can have something viral go off in his interview. That's what a lot of these media guys do. But Boots is clearly not taking the bait. And to be real with you, I haven't even watched this far into the interview yet. So I don't even know what Boots is going to say. But, you know, based off of how the way Boots answers questions, he's not going to take the bait. He's not.
Too.
I'm not him. It definitely would be a huge fight for boxing. Everybody always said they want to see it, you know, and I don't know. But like I said, he could do whatever he want. He pick whoever he want. And I think, I don't know. I just think like I said, he just do whatever he want. You know,
would you go up if he said, I'll do it at 160 or 168? Would you consider that, or is that too big?
If I go up, I ain't coming back down.
Yeah.
I'm trying to accomplish my goals at 154 for sure. And like I said, let me run through these guys. I just want to shut all y'all up and then just make sure. Like,
don't say all y'all, by the way. You know, we're not hating on you.
No. I'm saying,
I know.
I'm saying, like, I just want to share everybody up and and letting everybody know that this really my division, and I'm gonna show everybody that I'm really the best in the world.
Do you feel?
So motherfuckers just need to shut up, and I've been saying this. Anonymous done told y'all in the chat. Y'all niggas just need to shut up about this Jaron Ennis and Terrence Crawford situation. Buzz said he don't want to fight Boots. You know what I mean? Boots just made it clear that he wants to clear out 154, and Bud is no longer at 54. So why do they on different types of times? This is not gonna happen. Niggas just need to let it go. You know what I'm saying? They on different types of times. They not worried about each other, so there's no use in even talking about that fight anymore. Simple.
Like there's a little bit like, you need to put some respect on my name here. Like, do you feel like people the last few fights have gotten away with questioning you, questioning how good you are, your ceiling and all this stuff, and now it's time to, you know, as the great Roy Jones once said, y'all must have forgot, now prove to them who you really are?
Roy said, what did he say? He said, they say I ain't fighting nobody, I just make them look like nobody. And that's real rap. You know, I fought Stan Jonas, and leading up to that fight, everybody was like, oh man, I don't know about this fight. Stan Jonas gonna do this. Stan Jonas gonna do that. He too tough. He this, he that. And then when I beat him and I made it easy, everybody was like, he was supposed to do that. So with me, I feel like it don't matter. No matter who I fight, they always gonna say something. Oh, he was supposed to do that, or we already knew he could do this. Like, but it's just they always like kind of like downplaying what I do, and then I got used to it, you know. And now I don't really care. I'm just here to shut everybody up and like run through the division and do what's best for me and my team and my family.
How has it been with Eddie?
Great answer.
I believe it's been 4 fights with him, right?
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, when he gets on the microphone in the ring afterwards, because you're kind of a soft-spoken guy, man of a few words, and he cuts those promos. Yeah. WWE, you're a WWE fan, right?
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while, but
like he's like your Paul Heyman. You know what I mean? If you get what I'm saying, like he'll do the work for you. Do you like that?
Yeah, for sure. All I gotta do is get in the ring. I do the easy part.
Yeah,
I get in the ring and knock whoever out or look good doing it. I do the easy part. He got the hard part with the talking.
Yeah, but I feel like he does, for someone with your personality, he does a great job because he'll talk the smack on your behalf. And it's not like unwarranted smack, but he's calling everyone out because, you know, you don't want to do it, whatever, that's not your style. You're a perfect match, in my opinion. Yeah. But on the surface, you would think like, oh, man, dude from Philly, guy from Essex, he's a little bit posh, he's got the accent. Like, maybe this wouldn't be a match, but for some reason, it seems to work. Why does it work between you two?
I feel like you just said, like I do talk, but I don't talk as much because that's not my thing. You know, I do my talking in the ring. I do more so my talking in the ring. You know, I'm glad that I have, you know, Eddie to be around to like talk and say this and say that, so I can back him up and then he back me up. And it's like it go hand in hand. Like it all work, you know, hand in hand.
You like him at first, or at first we were like, I don't know about this dude?
Eddie was cool.
Yeah,
he was always cool. Yeah, funny guy. You know, I love working with him. You know. Whatever I ask for, they do, or he do, and then, like I said, it's that time. We about to take over this boxing game. Not.
Just want to address these comments real quick. I definitely understand where you're coming from, Bullies. I see Bullies is a bit expressive in the comments right now. Let me see. He's being heavily critical towards Terrence Crawford. He said, Let me read the 3 he put out. He said, Bud need to fight Boots. Benavidez didn't bring anything for Canelo, and we all wanted to see the fight. Bud just want to fight styles that cater to his. Well, Benavidez was actually Canelo Alvarez is mandatory, but WBC didn't really do anything to try to enforce that fight because they didn't want to get on Canelo's bad side like they did, you know, in previous years when he was at 160. Now, I think politics definitely played a part. But, yeah, I mean, I understand your frustration and what you're saying. But, you know, Benavidez, speaking about that Benavidez-Canelo situation, Benavidez did whatever he could to try to make that fight happen. Canelo wasn't with it. You know what I mean? He didn't really want to take that fight. So what did Benavidez do as a result of that? He moved on. You know, I heard, you know, they were saying that Boots had, you know, opportunities to fight in Terrence Crawford. And, you know, the reality is, them dudes ain't never sent no fight offer for Boots to fight. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a reality. You know, I've never seen Bud chase the Jaron in this fight like he chased the Terrence Crawford. I mean, the Errol Spence fight or the Canelo Alvarez fight. You know, even the Sebastian Fundora fight that he was looking for. I never seen him adamant about facing Jaron in this. So I highly doubt that was something that Bud was even looking for. And he even said that there was a likelihood that, you know, he would have gave Boots an opportunity anyway. So, listen, man, I understand where you're coming from, but, you know, if Bud want to go a different route, why should Boots just stick around? You know, Bud on this type of time, Boots said that Bud could do whatever he wants. Bud is clearly doing whatever he wants, you know? So I feel like as boxing fans, you know, we request these fights, but, you know, it gets to a certain point where it's like, all right, y'all, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting this fight anytime soon. So look, we got to move on just like these guys do. We could demand these fights, but if one guy is hell-bent on not fighting the other, what the fuck can we really do? What can we really do as boxing fans? We got to move on. So that's just what I'm on. It's like, all right, y'all motherfuckers don't want to – like, I moved past the Devin Haney and Tank fight. I moved past the Tank and Shakur Stevenson fight. I had to. Even though I didn't want to, I had to. Because it take 2 to make a fight, bro. So, yeah.
Not only the division, but the boxing game. And,
okay.
Like I said, I'm about to prove and show everybody that I'm the best in the world.
I sense the motivation like oozing out of you here, like a bit of a chip on your shoulder. I can feel it. I can see it.
I can't wait. I'm ready. I'm ready to show everybody up. And once I do, everybody that was saying this and saying that, they gonna be real sad over these next couple years.
And clearly the belts mean something to you, right?
Sure.
You want to be undisputed champion, unified champion. Can I ask you, because this has been a hot topic as of late, the belts. You know, Zuffa's coming in and they want to create their own belt and make amendments to the Ali Act, trying to get away from the WBCs and the WBAs. How do you feel about that? Eddie been very outspoken about, like, you know, we have to keep the belts. There's history.
For sure.
Ali held these belts. How do you feel about that?
You got to keep the belts for sure. You know, it's definitely history, and without the belts, without those certain belts, like, you can't really say you have legacy and things like that. So I feel like you got to keep the belts. And yeah,
They're trying to make it like UFC where they have a promotional belt.
yeah, just one belt.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
At first, back in the day, not back in the day, but when I was like coming up, I'm like, it should only be like 1 or 2 belts. But now like actually being in it, it's actually better. Cause then you got something to look forward to, or something to say, like I beat this champion, that champion, that champion, that champion, all back to back. When you just fight one person and just beat them for the belt, and that's it. It's kind of like corny. It make it like less fun.
Right.
I feel like it's more fun when you got multiple champions.
And the rankings and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that's something that I said. That was exactly something that I said. I was like, bro, I think it's actually dope when, you know, you have 4 major belts and have 4 world champions, because it gives us as boxing fans opportunities to see multiple champions face each other and ultimately come down to one guy standing out, you know, amongst the rest. You know what I'm saying? So I do, you know, the problem isn't necessarily the major world title. It's the belts that come underneath, like the WBA regular, the WBA, the WBC People's Champion, you know, the WBC Silver Champion, the WBA America's Champion, the NABF, you know, I don't have a problem with the NABF belts and shit like that, because they give you rankings in major sanctioning bodies. But, you know, like it'd be like them little bullshit, the WBC Intercontinental Champion, like bullshit like that. It's like, come on. But the 4 major belts, I'm an advocate for it, and I don't really support this, you know, Zuffa shit. Don't nobody give a fuck about no Zuffa belt and, you know, changing the Muhammad Ali Act and changing the size of the ring and all this bullshit. Like, don't nobody care about that, bro. So I'm definitely for belts as well.
Yeah. And you got different varieties of different people you can fight. So yeah, I think it's keep the belts, and it'll make better for like legacy for sure.
These amendments to the Ali Act is a very hot topic right now. How do you feel about this? Do you think it should stay as it is, or are you interested? Are you open to changing it?
No, you gotta keep that. You gotta keep that, and that's what's protecting us. So you gotta keep it.
Yeah, why the fuck would Boots be against that? Any fighter who's against transparency between a fighter and the promoter is a fucking fool. Might as well call himself a slave. Like, you might as well just have a regular job and leave this boxing shit alone. Because it's like, why wouldn't you want that transparency? Why wouldn't you want to be protected? It's like, what the hell? Why would anybody want to be like, no. You don't have to tell me how much to. No, you don't need to tell me how much money you're making. I'm okay with what I'm getting. Thank you. It's like, the fuck? They don't even know, nigga. Open them books. I want to know how much, you know, these networks are going to be giving you for this fight. Like, I need to be compensated correctly, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here. So while I'm at the top, I'm going to make sure I get every dollar that I can. That's just business. Anybody else who, you know, is for getting fucked over is a damn fool.
You know, they had a hearing last week, California State Athletic Commission, and there were no notable boxing people on it to fight on behalf of the boxers, to speak up on behalf of the boxers. And this was alarming to some people. And now, so it's moving to the next step, and it might actually get amended.
Oh, yeah, I never even knew nothing about it. Actually, that's crazy. That's crazy that we didn't have nobody from like the boxing community there.
It was a lot of MMA people speaking.
That's not right. They should redo it or just leave it alone. You know.
You don't see any sort of issues with it. You say keep it status quo. There's full transparency. You get to see the books, right? You get to see what's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of these things are potentially going to go away.
No, they need to keep it the right way. You know, keep the Ali Act. You know.
Do you think that their model could work? The UFC model could work in boxing?
No.
Why not?
I just don't think so. Boxing and UFC, two different things. And
I'm gonna answer this for you, Boots. The answer is no. You know what I mean? Because unlike the UFC, where all the best fighters in mixed martial arts happen to be in one company, boxing is all of the top boxers in the world are spread out amongst multiple promotional companies. You feel what I'm saying? So unless you're gonna buy every fucking promoter, you're gonna buy all these fighters' contracts off of their promoters, it's literally gonna be impossible to take all of the boxing world and fit them into one corporation. It's not gonna happen. Unless you're buying out every fighter in these guys' promotional stable, it's not gonna happen because you got, for instance, on the PBC side, you got motherfucking the Charlo brothers, you got Sebastian Fundora, you got Keith Thurman, you know all these guys that they had, especially at the top, you know, at their peak. You got all them guys over there. Then on the Matchroom side, you got Richardson Hitchens, who else? Motherfucking Jaron Ennis. You got Shakur Stevenson was dealing with them. Then over at the Top Rank side, you got Rafael Espinoza, you got Bruce Carrington, you know, you got all those guys that was over there. You fought Xander Zayas. Then you got to come all the way over the pond. Motherfucking Queensberry. They got so and so. Like, it's talent that's spread out all over the place. You feel what I'm saying? So it's gonna be very difficult unless you're collabing with these other promoters to bring them over to Zuffa Boxing, which they said they're not gonna be acknowledging nobody but themselves. It's gonna be very hard to get boxing under one corporation. You know, in the UFC, they was able to do that. You know what I mean? They pumped billions of dollars into this company. You know, they was able to get these guys because MMA was an upcoming sport. It didn't have the history that boxing had. You know what I mean? It was an upcoming sport where, you know, there was still a lot to be, you know, achieved. The UFC came in at the right time and they took MMA to a different level. Boxing has been around since forever. So the history has been is about as rich as can be. Probably, you know, one of the most, you know, it's probably one of the oldest sports, you know, in this world. You feel what I'm saying? So because of that, bro, I just don't see it happening, man. I don't see how you take, you know, this promoter from over this promoter's fighters, and, you know, somehow take all of them, put them into one fucking corporation, and then just have boxing run that way. It's not gonna happen. So I don't see it.
In boxing, boxers make more money than UFC fighters, so you can't really like put them two like hand to hand like that. I don't think that's a good idea.
And what about that model where it's just like one promotion and you just kind of fight the guys in that promotion and there's no co-promoting?
I like the co-promoting because, like I said, you got multiple different people you can fight, and that's, for example, like in UFC, you could be a champion in UFC, but you can't fight the champion in Bellator.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Yeah, well, perfect example. You couldn't fight Vergil Ortiz.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, but that's the fight that everybody want to see.
Right.
So yeah. I don't like that. They should definitely have, you know, do the co-promoter thing, co-promotion thing.
It's gonna be interesting. Sure. I don't know how much you probably. I know you got blinders on and you're focused on your career.
Yeah, I don't really like try to pay too much attention to like.
Do you watch the media? Do you read the stuff? Do you look at things, or you stay out of it?
Not really, but sometimes when I'm on Instagram or Twitter, you can't do nothing but hope to see it because it's in your face. Like, so sometimes I do see the little things here and there, but all that stuff just be,
You signed with Eddie around the same time that Shakur signed with him. Why do you think it didn't work with Shakur and Eddie?
I'm not sure. You know, I can't.
That ain't none of his damn business, Ariel. Why you got him speaking on shit that he don't know nothing about? Why you got him trying to speak on somebody else's business? What the hell wrong with Ariel? He be tripping sometimes. T says Dana's saying that if fighters want to fight under the Ali Act, they can. Not sure how that works out. So if that's the case, why go out of your way to try to modify it? If fighters could fight under it anyway, are you just trying to get it modified and then say, oh, if you want, I want to change the Ali Act, but you could fight under the Ali Act if you want to. How are they going to be able to fight under the Ali Act if you went out of your way to modify it? So they could pick which version of the Ali Act they want to follow, and it's okay with you. That shit don't even make sense. I'm gonna do my best to change the Ali Act so we could fuck fighters over. But when we deal with fighters, they could choose whatever part of the Ali Act that they want. They could follow the first one. They could follow the modified one. Hey, nigga, stop it. Keep it a fucking buck, dog. You trying to take over boxing like how the way you did with the UFC. You try to come around the first time to get into boxing, you realize you couldn't control it. You ain't had the motherfucking funds necessary to do so. You realize it was a different type of money over here. So you went back running to the UFC. You know what I mean? Turkey Al-Sheikh started rubbing his hands on your lap. He started pumping money into, your zoo for boxing. So now you want to come back around and give it another shot to take over the boxing world. It's not going to happen. It's not. And very, very slick by California on some real shit, bro. Boxing need to get the fuck out of California. I'm going to keep it 1,000. Fuck the California State Athletic Commission. And I done had my license over there before. And they seemed like they was good people. But the way that they went about having that vote to change the Ali Act when there was no boxing representatives around, I'm going to ask Rachel Donaire about that. Because the one time they brought boxing representatives around, they fried the commission. I need to talk to Rachel Donaire and see what the fuck is going on, because how weren't they alerted that, they were going to do a vote when initially they were promised that they was going to revisit things in December. Very, very sneaky, slimy shit going on in California right now. You know what I mean? If that don't tell you they getting paid off to try to change the rules, I don't know what the fuck that'll tell you.
Please say I'm not Shakur.
No, I know.
Yeah, I don't know what they had going on.
It just seemed like those were two big signings, American guys, East Coast guys. Like it felt like a huge deal for Matchroom to get two guys of your stature. And it seemed to have worked out great with you, but not so much with him for some reason.
I'm not sure. I can't really, like I said, I can't speak on it. I don't know what they had, type of business they had going on, or how they, meshed together, But me and Eddie, we meshed together.
You're
really
happy?
Well. Yeah, I'm good.
Have you guys ever talked about fighting in the UK? Boxing's so popular over there.
That's crazy. We just were talking about it right after my fight.
Okay.
That Sunday morning, we had a little meeting. And we was actually talking about, I told him I wanted to fight in London.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans there are insane. Have you been to London?
No, not yet.
Like over there, you're in the car listening to the radio, just sports talk radio, and they talk about soccer and boxing. Like midday, that would never happen here. You would never put on ESPN radio here and they're talking about boxing or MMA. There, it's like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're talking about like mid-tier boxing as though we talk about NFL, NBA, MLB here. Right. It's crazy. So I think it would be great for you. I think you would get mad love over there.
Yeah, he said that. He said you come to the UK. He said you probably get mobbed. He said they love you over there. So one day hopefully I'll go over there this year.
You'd be open to it.
Yeah, I think I'm tripping. My dad has Jack fighting.
Oh, Jack Catterall.
And
yeah, it's coming up on the Ben Eubank card.
Yep, and I think I'm
you're gonna go.
I think I'm gonna go. Yeah.
How did that happen? Jack coming.
To be honest, I don't know. I just one day I just walked to the gym. He was in the gym. But
you know who he was?
Yeah, I know who he was because before he came. I'm gonna say maybe like 6 months, 5 or 6 months prior to him like coming like recently, and he came and I guess he came and trained a couple times with us, and I don't know. I guess maybe he liked what he saw with my dad and around us, and I guess he was like maybe he wanted to switch trainers. Not sure, but it's actually fun to have him in there. He's a great fighter.
Nice guy, kind of a mild-mannered dude too. Yeah. Quiet guy.
Great guy. I watched him spar yesterday. He looking good.
Yeah?
Yeah, he looking real good.
That's a big-time card.
Yeah, he picking up that defense.
Okay.
Real fast. He looking good. Looking strong, too.
So you think you'll go out for that one?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm going to talk to Eddie as well, about...
That's going to be at a soccer stadium. That's a huge deal. 60,000 people.
I heard, yeah. That's why I want to fight it. Is that
Hotspur Stadium.
Oh, no, Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
We're Wembley.
Wembley is also in London, but bigger. So that one's like 90,000. Hotspur's like 60,000.
Yeah, I gotta do Wembley one time.
You want the 90,000?
Yeah, for
What's
sure.
What's the fight?
I don't know. Whoever.
We need like a good British foil. I feel like
Conor Benn, bitch. Fuck you mean, nigga? That's the fight. Why y'all niggas acting like there ain't nobody in the UK that can rumble him at 154 pounds? The fuck? What is we talking about? The only motherfucker in the UK that what? Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly ain't gonna. I don't know if that's gonna sell at the Wembley. Connor Ben versus Jaron Ennis would be absolutely fucking fire at the Wembley, and that should have probably put all 90K motherfuckers in there. Hey man, Connor Ben, he mentioned Boo's name before. You know what I mean? He moving up to 60 to fight Chris Eubank Jr. Why not? Why not? But then we heard Eddie Hearn say he don't want Boots to fight any of his guys. So, you know, who knows? Who knows, man? But Boots in the UK will go crazy for sure. I would love to see that. Maybe it'll be Josh Kelly. Who knows? Let's say Josh Kelly beats Bakram, because I heard Bakram and fucking Josh Kelly went to a purse bid. Wouldn't that be fire? That'll definitely open up the possibility right there. Eugene, you said he had the chance to fight Terrence. Okay, so tell me when that chance was. Can you elaborate, brother? I'm not even about to get into that conversation. We done had that conversation a million times.
Yeah, I feel like you need like a British guy.
Don't matter.
A big name.
I would love to fight in the UK for sure though, and I think that'd be it. That's when I know I hit like mega superstar like for sure.
Do you want to fight in Riyadh too?
We'll see.
Okay,
yeah, we'll see.
Not at the top.
You seen that? See, I could read how the way he answered certain shit. I could tell it was really on his mind. Boots, man, I hate that. I know exactly what he trying. Did you see how the way he answered that? I don't think Boots really fuck with Turkey. I don't think he really fuck with Turkey, bro. You know, some real shit is like, why would he? That motherfucker. Wow, I wish I could get YSM on here. You see how quick you see how he hesitated? Wait, hold on, let me do that again.
I hit like mega superstar like for sure.
Do you want to fight in Riyadh too?
We'll see.
The Boots don't want to fight there, bro. I get it. Boots was supposed to get the winner of Bud versus Arrow. He was. But it was an unfortunate situation. YSM was here earlier. Was he really? No, that was Claymore. He was in line for the IBF to get a shot at the winner of Bud and Arrow. However, you know, they was both moving up to 154 anyway, and on top of that, Bud couldn't do it if he wanted to because he had a rematch clause set up with Errol Spence at the time. So the IBF was like, oh, okay, you got a rematch clause set up? Well, by our rules, we had to strip you and give the belt to Jaron Ennis because he was already the IBF interim champ. So that was the situation. You know, Ariel fell out with Turkey too. Hey, man. Ariel, he liked to push buttons. That's something that I'm noticing. He liked to push buttons.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Not at the top of the list.
No, yeah, I like London though for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you end up?
Said Riyadh not at the top of his list. That's interesting. That's the first time I heard him say that.
With Canelo, that kind of that was big news when we saw you training with him. How did that happen?
Just our teams reaching out to each other, and
did he reach out to you?
We reached out to him, but I actually used that camp to start my camp.
Okay.
So when I was out there for like maybe like 10 days. So you basically say 2 weeks. So my first 2 weeks at camp was out there, and I really was out there getting in shape for my own fight, and because we was in Truckee, California. You know, the elevation is like 5,800 or something like that up there. So I was actually out there getting in shape, you know, for my own fight, and why not go out there and why not go train with, you know, Canelo and me move up in weight, you know, and go hand to hand.
Yeah. How long were you there for?
Like 10 days.
And how was it?
It was great. You know, I enjoyed I enjoyed Truckee. I enjoyed the weather. the evolution, I didn't really like feel it. I guess because maybe I was already in like some type of shape or something like that, but I didn't feel it. But when I came back home, everything I did was super easy. I'm like, it's crazy. I was running 5 miles in like like 30 minutes. I'm like, this is crazy. Like I feel like amazing, you know. And that's something that I think I might do. I think I might take my camp, like my next camp. I might go to like Truckee or like Colorado Springs or somewhere high altitude.
Do you think that you'll continue to train with him, or was it just specific to this fight?
No, that just was just for this fight, you know. And like I said, I used that training camp to, you know, prepare myself for the 154 division. Why not, you know, train with a 68 pounder, you know, and get ready and get right.
Did you guys spar?
Yeah, we sparred like 4 times.
Wow, how many rounds?
Probably we did. The first time we did 5. The first 2 times we did 5, and I think the last 2 times we did 8.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 8.
Man, I wish I could have seen that.
Yeah.
Damn, I like the fact nobody really asked Boots that. Why hasn't nobody asked Boots that? That's a great fucking question. Why didn't nobody ask how many rounds he did with Canelo Alvarez? I didn't have anybody tell me. So he did 5 rounds 2 times, then 8 rounds the other 2 times. So in total, he did 26 rounds with Canelo Alvarez. That's good shit. That's good shit. This nigga Eugene is crazy. Okay, moving on.
How'd that go?
It was good. It was great work. You know,
Yeah?
It was great work. I appreciate them. You know, let me come down and use their facilities to get in shape for my fight, and it was definitely great work.
Is that something that you like to do? See what other people are doing? You know, link up with other guys, or is that unique? Is that just a thing that kind of happened, and you prefer staying at home? I know you said that you think you might do this or want to do this, but historically in your career, is that something you've liked to do or no?
That was like that, like you just said. I just wanted to get out my comfort zone. Yeah. You know, I always train at home. I was like, I'm gonna do something different, and I was like I wanted to do something different, so I went out there and trained out there for, you know, like 10 days, and it was great. You know, I didn't want to be home the first 2 weeks of camp. I just wanted to do something different. Yeah, switch it up and just see different things. I was out there doing stuff that I never did before. I'm out there fishing. I don't even fish when I'm here, like when I'm home. Like it's crazy, out there fishing, just enjoying myself. It was like very like relaxing and like
were you
peaceful.
Fishing with Canelo?
No, I was fishing with my brother. Okay. And my cameraman.
Oh wow, your brother came out too?
Yeah, my brother. That's who went with me. Farad went with me. Farad, Ennis, and my cameraman.
Okay.
Yeah, came out there with me, and yeah, it was. I enjoyed myself. It was very relaxing. Just all you do is eat, train, rest, and that's about it. So it was cool. No distractions.
Yeah. I'm happy you're wearing shades, by the way, because the ice is unbelievable. I mean, golly, we have never had anyone with this kind of ice on there. How many necklaces is that? 2 or 3?
It's just 2.
Just 2. Jeez Louise. How much does that weigh, you think?
I don't know. It's
man, oh man. How many diamonds we got on there? How many carats is that?
A lot.
Yo, the bottom one. Oh yeah, there's the. Okay, look at this.
The GBA.
Yo, that is something. Did you get this after the fight?
No, I had this for like.
You had this for a while.
I had this stuff for like 5 years.
Oh, for real?
Like
Time for an upgrade then.
Yeah, for sure. As long as it's free though.
Oh, those are free?
No, I said as long as it's free.
Oh yeah. But those aren't free, are they?
They wasn't free, you know.
But people, I mean, they probably do want to gift you this stuff, right?
They will now, you know, because
now you're a star.
I'm at a big level now, so.
Moses the jeweler, what's that guy's name? Is that his name? The guy on like 42nd Street here in New York. You know this guy?
I don't know who it is.
You don't go to the spots here.
No, I go in Philly.
Okay, yeah.
Philly, yeah.
You can't be messing with those New York guys. They're gonna give you fake stuff, and then people are gonna call you out. I don't know. This New York Philly thing. I don't know. Do you like getting jewelry? Do you have a lot?
I mean, once you get the jewelry, you just don't really care for it anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I got chains. I got bracelets, watches, and stuff like that. But I don't really care for it anymore, you know, because I've done it. So, I mean, but it is time for a new piece. But am I gonna get one? Probably not. I'd rather like invest it in like a house or something like that, you know.
By the way, for those that don't know, where did Boots come from?
Boots. My original nickname.
Why don't you ask that? Niggas not. Man, I'm skipping past that.
Boots, like the shoes. It is Boots.
Yeah.
And kind of like
because of your dad.
Yeah. My Yeah.
And did you get into boxing because of your dad?
Yeah, my dad was a former boxer, professional boxer, and then Derek Poo Ennis and Farada Quiet Storm, those are my brothers. They was former boxers as well. They was ranked high in the WBC and the IBF, and like they was like 1 and 2. And yeah, you know, so that's how
I skipped it because I done heard that question a million times. Where did you get the name Boots? Bro, I done heard that. I already knew his answer. I heard that a million times, bro. They was asking him that shit years ago. It might be a good question, the stranger. It might be a good question for people who don't know Boots, but I've known Boots for years, so I already know the answer to that. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't really feel the need to hear the answer. I done heard it before.
that's how I became, you know, this fighter that I am today. I was always seeing my brothers fight, and they fought on ESPN, they fought on Showtime, they fought on a lot of platforms, and they fought a lot at home too as well. So me seeing them fight as much like that, you know, I wanted to be like them when I.
All right, maybe I was being a bit inconsiderate for the people that don't know. I guess it was a solid question for people who don't know. His original nickname, just to sum it up, his original nickname was Boops, Boops. That was what they called him growing up. Why? I don't know. But a lot of the people hearing it, they misunderstood it and thought that they were saying boots, like the shoes. So it was just people mishearing the word and calling them boots as a result, and that's the name that ended up sticking instead of Boops, Boops. They was calling them Boops. They thought they was calling them boots. So that's what everybody ended up calling them as a result. So the nickname changed from Boops to Boots. So my fault.
I got older and now I'm here.
Did you ever consider something else, or was it always boxing for as long as you can remember as a kid?
It was always boxing, but my mom wanted me to play basketball. So
were you good?
Yeah, I was better back then. Now okay. I just
yeah,
that's over.
But like, what position were you? Guard?
Back then I was playing shooting guard.
Okay.
I was a lot bigger though.
Okay.
Than the kids, you know, growing up back then. So I played basketball from 9 to like, I'm gonna say like 13, 14, and I just stopped playing. I told my mom, I said, Mom, I can't do this no more. I'm like, it's not as fun as boxing is for me, you know, and she understood that. And then from 14 all the way to now, I just took off with it, you know, and she really be like, wow, you really like, you really nice.
You really did
boxing.
It.
Like,
yeah. Did she not want you to go into boxing because she didn't want to see her baby boy get beat up?
No, she's
been around it, right?
Been around it.
Yeah.
My dad was a boxer.
Yeah.
Both my brothers was boxers. She was like, all right, it's like basically like it's time for something else. Like,
okay.
I'm like, she don't really like care for boxing, but now like my mom be locked in with boxing now because where I'm at today, and she loved watching me fight, and I love.
She go to all your fights?
Yeah, she be front row.
Okay.
Every time I come back to the corner, I see her.
Did she say anything?
No, she be sitting there chilling.
Okay.
She don't be nervous or nothing because she know that I put the work in. Same thing with my brothers or anybody that's around me. They don't be nervous because they know I put the work in. I don't cut no corners. I don't none of that. You know, I lock in and I be full throttle on just, you know, trying to be as focused as possible and making the job happen, and that's winning and coming out victorious.
By the way, you mentioned Showtime. I feel like we got introduced to you really on Showtime. Yeah. Did you miss Showtime?
I mean, Showtime going, right?
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy to be able to fight on, you know, that platform before it went away. I always wanted to fight on HBO, but HBO going too. But, you know,
it's a different time.
It's a different time now. Yeah, everything on the app now. You know, but I'm grateful for, you know, for the zone. I'm in a Metro, and I'm glad to, you know, have them backing me, and it's time to make these big fights.
Yeah. And do you feel like right now Terrence is obviously, you could say, the face of boxing, certainly the face of American boxing, right? Is that a goal of yours? Do you want to be viewed as the guy in America? Do you want everyone to say like that's the face of American boxing? Do you think of those things?
I'm definitely gonna be the face of boxing. I already know I'm the face of boxing. It's just a matter of time. You know, like I said, y'all gonna see. I'm gonna pluck them off one by one.
What do you think? Next year, how many fights?
Next year,
what's the goal?
Probably 2. You know,
Vergil, first half.
Yeah, and then one of them belts, and then
Who do you think? Who would be next?
I don't whoever is going to accept this to fight me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm on right now. Like I said, I'm gonna knock them down one by one, and they gonna see. And I'm gonna slowly take over this boxing game and show the world that I'm the best in the world, and I'm the face of boxing. Just one fight at a time.
Do you think when it's all said and done, you remain at 154?
No.
Okay. Wow, you said that fast. Where do you think you end up?
I'm gonna probably end up maybe 68.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe.
If only there was a really big name fighter at 68. You can. Do you think you get there in time? That would be something.
We'll see.
68 is a big jump.
It's a big jump, but like I said, I'm gonna handle business at 54. You run through these guys, and then 60, and then maybe 68.
Okay.
68 for sure.
How long do you want to go for? Like, have you thought about I want to be done at X year, like X age? Do you think about that sort of thing?
Right now, I'm just going.
You're going.
I'm just going. I'm locked in. I feel like I'm in my prime. So
I feel like there's a different energy about you right now.
yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm
But
ready.
also like I don't know if you remember, we've talked once before on the show, but you were on via Zoom.
Yeah.
Like it was sort of around the time that you were going to fight and you weren't smiling and stuff. And I know that you're locked in, you're cutting weight, but like now there's a whole different aura about you right now, I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Just stay tuned.
Something about less weight maybe.
Yeah.
Being cut, more weight on you.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've had enough of all the shit talking.
Yeah, it's over. It's over for everybody.
That's it. Wow.
I'm just tired of the talking, and they gonna see.
How does it go? You and Vergil, how does it go?
However I want.
What do you think? Well, like how long do you think it goes?
However I want. That's how I feel. Like, hey, everybody gonna see that I'm really like one of them ones, and everybody really gonna see that I'm one of the ones, and I'm gonna show y'all like. Y'all, I really
can't wait.
I can't wait, and I can't even like explain it. I'm just gonna have to show y'all. I don't even really want to talk about it.
I got you. I got you.
I just want to show y'all because it just.
One more I want to ask you about Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. Everyone has a take on this, on this fight happening. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel like it's good for boxing.
Okay.
At first, I thought Jake was like kind of like trying to like play the sport or whatever, but I feel like Jake really be taking boxing serious. He goes through full camps and things like that, and he has a big following. So I feel like he bringing different eyes to boxing and things like that. So I feel like it's good for boxing, and then with the Tank situation, why not? I feel like Tank one of the faces of boxing too as well. So
sure,
so why not? And why not have a money grab? And I know that Tank want to retire, so if he want to retire that way, making millions, so be it.
The retort would be there's such a big weight discrepancy there, right? That's what some people.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Tank probably sparred like heavyweights or light heavyweights and things like that.
Damn,
so
really?
It's probably nothing that he never seen before. I'm pretty sure Jake never fought nobody that little.
No, it's good. So that's the fascinating part about it.
I feel like it's more so harder for Jake to fight a smaller guy like that because he's gonna be a lot faster. And
he's never fought anyone as skilled as him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like weight aside, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think wins?
I mean, Tank should win. Tank probably should knock him out.
Oh wow, really?
But I don't know.
Think he knocks out a guy that big? That'd be insane. Yeah. Does that end the Jake Paul thing in your opinion if he knocks him out?
No.
No.
I feel like he's gonna continue to keep boxing and keep fighting these. He gonna keep fighting either older fighters or like MMA fighters or like something around those lines. And I don't know, he possibly could win a like a little major, like small title later on down the line.
Yeah, he was ranked, I think, in the WBA, and everyone got mad about it. In the top 15.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, as a cruiserweight though.
Oh yeah.
Cruiserweight's kind of the more shallow division, but everyone got pissed about it.
I mean, he gonna bring eyes to the cruiserweight division. You don't really hear too many people talk about the cruiserweight division, so why not? I know people probably think like how he just come in and just take over, like not take over boxing, but how he just come in and jump in and make all this money. But I feel like it's pros and cons to it. He came in here. Yeah, we all been boxing since we've been little, and we've been doing it since we was babies and fought through the amateurs and all that stuff and things like that. But I feel like I said, I feel like he bringing eyes to the boxing game and having like the younger kids that follow him and things like that. They bringing their eyes to the boxing game for sure. So I'm with it. I'm all for it. At first I wasn't, but I am now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, this has been great. By the way, what's the McDonald's order? I heard you have a very unique order that you want. You think could blow up. Maybe getting a McDonald's endorsement.
Yeah, I need McDonald's that comes finance to me for sure.
What is the order?
The CBG order. You gotta get 2 McChickens with cheese, add the mac sauce. You gotta get a large fry and a large Coke or a Sprite.
2 of them.
Yeah.
2 McChickens.
Yeah.
That's out of camp.
That's out of camp.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a 154 pounder. You can do it from time to time.
Who knows?
Wow.
I might sneak one here and there.
Man, but that would be something. Boots with the McDonald's sponsorship.
Yeah, McDonald's, come holler at me.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe now that we put it out there. Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. And congrats on the big win.
Thank you.
And I would love to see you there November 8th. That would be great. Yeah. Front row, just looking at Vergil and his team over there, just kind of stalking your prey. That would be a scene.
For sure. You know, hopefully we there. Hopefully get in the ring too as well. So
afterwards.
Yeah.
That would be something. You and Eddie pulling up over there?
Yeah, me and Eddie.
Yeah, I would love that.
I'm gonna talk to Eddie when I get off I'm here. So yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much. Congrats. We're gonna take a quick break, say goodbye to Boots, be back with Andy Foster. A lot to get in with him about, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. Thanks for watching this.
Not bad. That was my first time watching the interview in its entirety, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat, man. I hear everybody talking. I mean, shout out to the boy J Cash. He said I fuck with Boots for sure. Yeah, he cool dude, real cool dude. And the same way he act on camera, same way he act in person, bro. Really, really good brother. Good brother, always been. Since before everybody knew his name, since before he won a world title. That's a genuine brother right there. Him and his family. Let me see. He said, "Why not create the Philly Mac steak?" What? How would that get put together? A Philly like Mac steak? How would that go? How would that work? Teach. Let me know. So let me know what the ingredients is, brother. You might be on to something. But what's on the people's mind, man? What y'all thinking, man? He said Vergil Ortiz at the top of his list. He said there's a possibility he might be in attendance for the fight. And, you know, there's a possibility he might get in the ring after the fight. Ooh-wee. If he step in that motherfucking ring and start calling people out, that's going to go viral throughout the boxing world. That's a huge move. Boots just being in the building alone going to stir up a whole lot of conversations. I really hope he does that, bro. It'll be fucking hilarious. I'm going to just say this. It'll be hilarious if Eddie and Boots pull up together to the Vergil and Lubin fight and then pull up in the ring and talk their shit after that. Eddie Hearn grabbing the microphone would be hilarious. De La Hoya get in the ring. Man, that shit'll be a whole big-ass drama, bro. I would love to see that. Would love to see that. But I didn't get to watch the other interviews that Boots did, but regardless, good publicity for Boots, man. I hope he continues to, you know, keep his name circulating in the boxing airways, and you know what I mean? The clock is ticking for November 8th, man. How far are we from the Vergil Ortiz fight? How far are we? So it's currently the 22nd because it's 12 in the morning right now. Oh shit, we about 2 weeks away. We're about to be 2 weeks away, brothers and sisters. Look at that. Boom. Boom. So, yeah. 2 weeks and 3 days away. It's lit. It's lit. I like it. I like it. Yep, November 8th. I keep thinking like we in the beginning of October. Whole time we at the end of October. Shit, I gotta pay this rent soon. Ain't that something? But yeah, man. Yeah. We got any last questions before we get up out of here, man? I thought it was interesting that Boots said that Riyadh not really at the top of his list in terms of places he wants to go. So I don't know if Boots is on some fuck Turkey shit or like he willing to work with Turkey, but it's going to be where he wanted to be type shit. And Turkey better not use that as an excuse to not work with Boots because you let a nigga call you a dictator. You let Gervonta Davis say that you was demonic and all this other shit, and you still said that, and you even said that you don't gotta like a person in order to do business with them. So, as far as I'm concerned, you better make that fucking fight happen. He probably didn't like the turkey comments. Of course he didn't. Of course he didn't, because he. I mean, it's he said, she said. We don't know what's being said behind the scenes. Bruce probably did say the two tuna. Maybe he didn't say it. But what I'm gonna say is the fact that you put that out there publicly to try to, put some dirt on Boo's name, yeah, that's distasteful. That's definitely distasteful. You know what I mean? And if you're looking to do business with somebody, that definitely ain't the approach that you should be taking. You feel me? But, it is what it is. T said, I like both Lubin and Vergil. Made a better man win. Absolutely. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Even if I don't dislike a person, I always say it to myself, made a better man win. It is what it is. Oh, shit, it's raining? What the hell? Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't think anybody would like comments from, negative comments for somebody, you know what I mean? Or people possibly lying on your name. Like, I don't know, bro. But then again, like I said, Turkey don't really like to deal with motherfuckers that don't kiss his ass or don't want to follow his lead. He one of them type dudes. And that's why I said, but Turkey calling the nigga a dictator, he not necessarily off in that. Like, we don't fuck with T.O. It's always fuck T.O. Fuck T.O. forever. But when he made that comment, it's like, yeah. The way he moving, especially with the Zuffa boxing shit and all that slimy shit, Turkey backing up financially, yeah, he ain't too far off with that statement. But anyways, what I wanted to say, y'all, shout out to the 26 people in the building. I am going to get my website back up and moving. MazumaMerch.com is definitely making a comeback soon. This is one of my old shirts right here. This shirt older than my son, man. I made this shirt. And this is a real special shirt to me because I had made this shirt a little bit before my son was born. You know what I mean? And I had won top coach of a boxing show with this shirt on. You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah. We're going to get MazumaMerch.com back up and moving. And new merch is definitely going to be on the way. Definitely better designs. I got to talk to Marissa. I got to see if she ended up getting her package sent. I gotta talk to Chris Maldonado too, because I heard there was people that was getting their merch sent out after that huge delay that they had. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna put some emails in and see what's going on, and then go from there. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love. As always, if you could hit the like button on the way out, that'll be very much appreciated. I'll be back at y'all with another live 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to continue cooking up on what's going on in the boxing world, man. Like I said, MazumaMerch.com is going to be back up and running. It's probably going to have a different name, but we're going to have that website back up and running soon. That Onito Donaire interview is definitely in the works. Just waiting for Rachel to get back to me. She never responds to me. Just waiting for her to get back to me with a good time, a good day. Shit. We're going to keep this shit moving, y'all. So, yeah, Lorenzo, we definitely need a hoodie out in Tokyo, bro. Yeah, for sure. Or whenever you come to Connecticut, get it sent over to Connecticut, you know what I mean? And then bring it over to Japan once you head back. You feel what I mean? That'll be dope. But regardless, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification after you subscribe to get notified each and every time I go live. I'll be back at y'all with another one, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to continue cooking up on what's going on in the boxing world. Until then, I hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.